Hello everybody, it's Mrs. Callahan here again, and it is day 4, our final day of Get Sticky. And you can see I've got 2 little friends here with me today. This is our last activity with our sticks, and I have made a couple of stick figures. So I'm going to tell you how I made those. So this one I've made with a flower that is growing in my garden at the moment. Some of you might recognise what it is, and some of you in Outdoor Learning at School planted bulbs in the autumn that grew into this flower. The yellow spring bulb is a daffodil. So I made this little stick figure using a daffodil from my garden. In a second I'm going to show you how to make that one like that. And this little one I made actually using some daisies from my lawn, and I used the petals from the daisy to make a kind of, I think it looks a bit like a lion's mane, don't you? To just stick around the outside. So I'm going to show you how to make a stick figure now. So yesterday I asked you to collect what we call a green stick, which is quite a young stick. Sometimes they're quite bendy, and the reason I asked you to collect one of those is because they are quite easy to peel the bark from. So to make the face of my stick figure, I've actually taken off some of the bark, and I did that in a very, very special way. You can just peel bark off a stick using your hands sometimes, but if you can't, you can use a tool to do that with. Now, if you're going to use the tool, you will need to ask a grown-up in your house to help you with this bit, okay? And the tool that you're going to need is one of these. This is a vegetable peeler. So I might use this to peel carrots or peel potatoes. Sometimes they come in slightly different shapes, but they all do the same job. They peel a layer off something, normally a vegetable, but you can use these to peel the bark off of a stick, and that's called whittling. So I'm going to show you how to safely do that, but if you're going to try this at home, you must get a grown-up from your household to help you with this part. So the end of the peeler, this bit can be quite sharp, so we're going to keep our fingers away from that. We're just going to hold it really tightly on the handle and keep our other hand and our fingers away from the sharp part. Then I'm going to need my stick. So here's the stick that I've chosen. Now, actually, I didn't find very many green sticks where I went for my exercise yesterday, but I think this one is going to work okay, because actually I noticed there's a little place on it where some of the bark is already missing. So I'm just going to use my vegetable peeler to try and take off a little bit more of the bark around that area. And here's how we do it safely. So if you ask your grown-up to help you at home with this, you can tell them how to do it safely. So I'm going to hold my stick at the other end away from where I'm whittling, and I'm going to hold it down, pointing away from me. I just turn sideways so you can see. And I'm going to, with my vegetable peeler, I'm going to push onto the stick and down away from me. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the bark off, so I have to push quite hard. You might, if you look really carefully, you might see some of the bark fling off in a minute. There we go. So I'm just very carefully taking off the top layer of bark to make enough space for me to be able to draw my face. There we go. That's all I needed to do. So if you've got a grown-up at home that can help you, they might be able to help you take the bark away to make a space for a face. So then I've got a pen. I'm going to do 2 little spots for eyes. There are the eyes on my stick figure. And I've got another pen here. I'm going to give my stick figure a lovely smiley face. So there's the face on my stick figure. Okay? So now I can decide what I want my figure to be. I thought I might make this one maybe some wings or a superhero cape, something like that. So here's my daffodil that I'm going to use. So I've just picked this from my garden, and actually I only want to use the flower bit. So what I'm going to do, can you see how all of these petals that stick out sideways are all attached to this green part at the top here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully snip off the green stem. So with some scissors I'm just going to cut, very carefully snip that off. So now I've just got the flower bit, and you'll see that actually there's a hole there. What I want to do is I want to get rid of this trumpet bit in the middle for now, okay, because I'm going to use that in a minute to make the headdress for my stick figure. So I don't want to throw that away, but I don't want it to be part of this bit. So I'm going to, with my scissors, I'm going to pull back those big petals, and I'm just going to trim off about halfway along. I'm going to trim off that trumpety bit. So I'm going to save that, because that can be the headdress for my stick figure in a second. So I'm going to put that to one side. So I've kept that bit. Then I can use the petals from this bit to make the body of my stick figure. So for this one, can you see how what I've done is I've actually put my stick into the centre of it, and I've just tied it with a little piece of string to hold it on. But I'm going to make something different with this one. What I think I'll do for this one is I'm going to use maybe I'm going to peel the petals off really carefully, one petal and another petal, and I think I'm going to make a cape for this one. So I'm going to put my petals together to make a sort of cape shape, and I'm going to hold it onto my stick figure. Where does his cape want to go? Probably about there, I think, behind him, like that. Could be a cape, or it could be wings, couldn't it? Perhaps if I had them that way up, like that, they could be wings. I'm going to have mine down like this to make a cape, but you can decide how you want yours to look. Then what I need is a really little piece of string. So I've got a really thin piece of string here, and all I need to do is to wrap my string around my stick. And remember those knots that we practiced the other day? I'm going to use a reef knot to tie it nice and tight so that my cape sticks to my figure. So I'm just tying my knot now. Again, it's quite fiddly, so if you need to ask a grown-up in your house to help you, that's absolutely fine. You can ask someone to help you. So there's my cape on the back of my stick figure. Okay? Then remember the trumpet part of your daffodil. That's this bit. I'm going to use that to make some kind of headdress for my figure. So what if I slide it on like that, and again I'm going to use a little bit of string. Here's my piece of string. I'm going to use my string just to wrap around my stick, and again I'm going to use that reef knot that I practiced the other day to tie that trumpet part of the daffodil to my stick. Now, you might not have daffodils in your garden. You might not have daisies in your garden. Remember, I used the daisy petals to make this one, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe you could use some leaves to make a cape, or if you find a feather, could you tie a feather on to make some hair or an interesting headdress for your stick figure? It's completely up to you how you do it. And I know that lots of you are really creative with things that you find outside. Maybe you could use some moss to make a beard and some hair, furry hair for your stick figure. Maybe some of you can make some kind of animal creature with your stick figure. It's really up to you. But that's my superhero one with his cape. Here is my lion with its daisy petal mane And this one I think looks like a sort of ballerina wearing a daffodil tutu perhaps. So there are 3 ideas for stick figures that you could make, and I hope you have a super time getting outside in your garden, or if you're out exercising and walking today, finding some things that you could use at home to make your stick figure. So that's our last stick activity for this week. Next week we're going to have a different theme, all sorts of activities to do with a new theme, and I'll let you know what that is on Monday morning. So make sure you do lots of things outside, make use of your gardens if you're lucky enough to have one. Make sure you make use of your exercise time, get outside, go for a walk, encourage people in your household to come and make things outside with you, and just enjoy the fresh air. Because remember, it's really important to be outside in nature, not just for your body, but for your mind, to keep you healthy. So have a lovely time, and I'll see you back on Monday for some more outdoor learning activities. Bye.